At Rainbow, in this building, we have a preschool, 3 classrooms that we just toured, and Speaker Pelosi and Congressman McGovern got to interact with our favorite people here. And we have, outside of this building, we have 2 extended day learning programs in public schools for school-age children. And we also have, throughout the city, we have family child care programs that service some of our children. So in total, we have about 250 children that we see every day in one of our programs or another. All of our programs are licensed by Massachusetts Department of Early Education and Care, and our preschool is also accredited nationally by NAEYC, or National Association for the Education of Young Children. There are only 10% of programs throughout the country that are accredited, so that's a really great thing for us. We're very proud of it. Here at Rainbow, it's our mission to transform the lives of young children and their families by providing proactive, stimulating, and innovative educational and therapeutic programs, as well as support services. Without the programs that Rainbow offer, many of the families that we serve would not have access to these kind of quality opportunities. As you all know, the pandemic has been tough on many of us. The pandemic has elevated the vital needs and costs of high-quality early ed care here in Massachusetts as other places in the country. Our operational costs have increased as a result of this. We are very grateful to Speaker Pelosi and Chairman McGovern for their highly visible support of the American Rescue Plan, which enabled us to stay open and provide this care. Thank you for your continued commitment that allows us to continue to serve the most valuable resource, namely our children. And thank you all for coming. And I want to introduce Congressman McGovern, who will lead us off.
Well, first of all, good morning, everybody. And I want to thank you all for coming out here early this morning on this kind of drizzly day. And let me begin by recognizing Paula Perrier and the incredible team here at Rainbow, who take such amazing care of our kids. And you keep on saying this, but our children are 100% of our future. And people here at Rainbow get it. This is a magnificent investment in our children's future, and we are so delighted to be here. I also want to recognize 2 champions of our children as well, Senator Chandler and City Councilor Carlson, who are here. We appreciate all that they do. And there are a lot of friends in this room who are active in the child care arena. But Speaker Pelosi and I just came from a meeting not only with the children who are fortunate enough to attend Rainbow, but also their families, who told us about how much this center means to them and how much opportunity and hope it brings to our community. The team here at Rainbow are proof that our communities succeed when we invest in our children. And parents like the ones that we just met are relying on the American Rescue Plan and the Biden Child Tax Credit, which is putting money in their pockets and supporting the incredible work here at Rainbow. Since the Biden Child Tax Credit payments started going out in July, millions of households with kids have received monthly checks. That money is being used for things like child care, school supplies, paying rent, and food. The number of households with kids who do not have enough to eat has fallen by 33% since this was enacted. And the American Rescue Plan is working. And that is why President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, and I are working to advance the Build Back Better plan so that we can not only extend the child tax credit, but also invest in things like universal pre-K, affordable child care to level the playing field for our children. Children learning, families earning. That's got to be our motto. So sadly, some of our colleagues on the other side, in particular, do not share our values. Everything is a battle. They say that these things are a waste. Strangely, they had no problem wasting trillions on tax cuts for big corporations and billionaires, but when it comes to helping working families, they want to complain. So the Biden child tax credit is delivering for the children, and I can think of nobody, and I mean nobody, who cares more deeply about our children than Speaker Nancy Pelosi. That is why she is in the Congress. She's a tireless advocate for the next generation of Americans, and she is leading us into the future as we build back better for the children. You know, we at every gathering I am with her, every paragraph ends with "for the children." I mean, that is her focus, and she has delivered. Children are her mission, children are her passion, and it is my honor to introduce the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you very much, Mr. McGovern, for your kind words. Any compliments I receive about our work in Congress, I accept on behalf of the House Democrats, the congressional Democrats, who have the courage to make the fight all the time. It's easier in our districts where there's so much good example, national standards of where we should be going. But for many of our colleagues, this is a fight because it's always the battle of the budget. I do believe that our budget should be a reflection, a national budget should be a reflection of our national values. What's important to us as a nation should be reflected there. Hence, we proudly make the fight for the children. It is such a treat. I would say honor and privilege, yeah, but a real treat to be here at Rainbow. To see the joy in the children's eyes, of the respect that they are receiving, to express themselves in many different ways. And they're really actually funny. Yeah. They have a sense of humor. They have a lot of confidence. Thank you, Rainbow, for that. I want to thank Director Perrier for her leadership in all of this, because that leadership is making the difference. So as she acknowledged, and Chairman McGovern acknowledged the staff, I want to salute them too. What they tell me is when these children come in, they look them in the eyes and welcome them, and they feel very, very special. And that was interesting about talking with the parents, because the parents were telling what the difference the paychecks made, the Biden tax credits made. July, August, next week, September 15th, the third check will go out. They said something very interesting about what's happening here and the difference those checks are making. They said we can see the difference in our children, what we're able to do for them, whether it's the technology to participate in any kind of learning, whether distance or at school, and what a difference Rainbow makes for the children. Children like to be with other children, we know that. And so this is a model for the country that we will take back. And we told Carol and Clifford and Jessica and Giselle, the parents who shared their stories with us, that nothing is more eloquent about the difference the policy makes than their voices as to the difference it makes to their families, to their children. Now I want to thank all of you who have anything to do with sending Jim McGovern to the Congress, because I have to say, as shall we say, knowledgeable as he is, as strategic as he is, as visionary as he is, he's quite saintly. He really is that. He is there every single day to make sure the fight is made for people to have food. Look at this. Is this fabulous, the focus on fuel? Nancy Tebow was telling me in the other meeting that I said that fuel is nutrition and it's medicine almost for children. And she said, no, we call it fuel here. It fuels all of their ambitions and their playtime as well as their learning. So again, this is nothing more important. I have 5 children myself, and my motivation for being in Congress, I always say to members, what is your why? Why are you here? My motivation was that the one in 5 children in America who lives in poverty and goes to sleep hungry at night. That got me out of, as my kids got into college, etc., out of the kitchen and into the Congress, and from homemaker to House Speaker, because of the children. Because as Jim said, there's 100% of our future. So what we're doing is for them personally, for them to reach their aspirations, so that they can go into the future with the confidence to make their difference, their contribution. Our former colleague, now not with us, Elijah Cummings, used to always say, Our children are our messengers to a future we will never see. We want them to go into the future with every opportunity to reach every child in America to reach their fulfillment, and to have the values of our country be worthy of those children as we advance them. So here we are. The child tax credit is our focus. It's making a big difference. But what also is happening in terms of the rescue package, which was exactly that, a rescue, mostly related to COVID. Now we go into the future, beyond COVID. The president's motto is build back better. We don't want to return to where we were. We want to do better than that. And the best way, in my view, to do better than that is to build back better with women. Now, gentlemen, you too, but women took a big bite of this apple, right, Senator and Congressman, Councilman? Women took a big bite of this COVID. 4.2 million women lost their jobs, couldn't go to work because their children weren't in school. They couldn't afford the child care, one thing and another. So President Biden said to the members, to the Republicans, I want to do as much as I can with you in a bipartisan way to build the infrastructure of America, the physical infrastructure. But I will not confine my vision for the future to what we can only do in that infrastructure bill. As important as that is, we must build back better, I say, with women. And that means that women can now fully take their place in the workplace. It has child care, child tax credit that we're here to talk about today. It has universal pre-K. It has paid family and medical leave. It has home health care. So if you have someone in the home who needs care, whether it's a child, a person with disabilities of any age, elder care, and the rest, this bill's for you. If you have children who need to be in school, parents learning, children learning, parents earning, parents are learning too from the children, then this bill's for you. If you have someone sick, incidentally, not only ongoing, and you need, or somebody's having a baby, you need parental and family leave paid. So it enables, and many are dads in this situation. It isn't just women who have these responsibilities, but women largely do. So for women, for children, for our economy, for our society, for our country, what the president is advocating is transformational. It's not incremental, it's transformational. We took first steps, we worked together, well, actually 100% Democratic votes, that's all House and Senate, in the rescue package. But now we want to extend or make permanent as many of those benefits as we can. It's pretty exciting. It's really historic because many developed countries have all of these things. It's not, and we don't. And why not? So again, for the children, so that they can reach their fulfillment, knowing that they can be with other children, that's really important. As I say, as mother of 5, grandmother of 9, I always say I want to spend time with my grandchildren. I think, do they want to spend time with me? They want to be with kids. They want to be with kids. Kids want to be with kids. And this enables all of that to happen. So I thank Rainbow for giving us this boost to take back to the Capitol to say we've seen a wonderful example where so much of it has come together. I want to just end by talking about the food situation. That in our country, where I started, that 1 in 5 children in America goes to sleep on. The champion, as I said, saintly champion on this subject, has been Jim McGovern. For decades, he has been the champion of making sure that we never ignore that responsibility, and now he has made the tremendous difference with the Democratic Congress and the Democratic President to remove all doubt that the food will be there. And so much about Rainbow is about teaching them how to grow the food, how to select the food and make the balance that they need. Eat smart, play hard. The other part of it is eat smart so that you can learn and be smarter. So again, this is a real super treat. Thank you to Rainbow for your remarkable example to the rest of the country and giving us the fuel we will strengthen our case as we try to make all of these things permanent. But we hope to do it within the next month. Mr. Chairman of the Rules Committee will be the person who brings the bill to the floor, if he chooses.
I do.
You heard it here first. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for honoring us with your presence, all of you, and especially our members of our official family. Thank you, Ms. Perrier, for your leadership as well. With that, I think any difficult questions you have, Mr. McGovern will be happy to answer. If they're very difficult, we can bring in the children. They have a responsibility.
I can't wait to tell my mother I was referred to as saintly today. She won't believe it. Any questions or?
Speaker Pelosi, how can you actually expand access to childcare when we already have staff shortages, serious staff shortages at childcare centers?
I'm sorry, that's what we're allocating resources for. It's for tax credits, but also it's also in another part of it for some infrastructure as well as to support the system of it. So and also, as you know, it's about training and having, as you have here, people who really, teachers or guides who are prepared for that, and the legislation calls for that in different parts of the legislation. The tax credit is in one part of the bill, the other funding is in other parts of the bill that's writing legislation. But this is, I mean, there are two things, if I just may divert for a second, there are two things that are absolutely essential that we do in a massive way in our country right away. And one of them is child care, affordable, quality child care, and all that that implies, making it affordable to the family, but making it quality in every other respect. And this is a sidebar, but it's very central in every other way, and that is to address mental health issues in a very different way. So I myself have these two, when we're doing legislation, to see, in this case, we can deal with the child care piece of it massively, hundreds of billions of dollars. So do you have anything to
No,
say?
the only thing I'd say is that we also want to, the second part of this is to invest in kind of the infrastructure for
Yeah.
childcare to help provide jobs that pay a decent wage for people who take care of our kids, which is really important. I think that will attract more people into this field. So, I mean, this is the first time we have made this kind of investment ever in my career. But this is historic.
Historic.
We can pass this.
It's transformational because in addition to everything that it does for the children, for the families, for the industry, what child care is, a value in our country, this is so essential to growing our economy in a different way with women taking their proper role. We truly believe that when women succeed, America succeeds. And we want them to be able to go to work, to the Latin phrase, age quadratus, do what they're doing, have their career paths. This is fabulous for our economy, that we will have the fullest participation of women to the extent that we are enabling that to happen for the children, for the families, but for the country. Any other questions?
Congressman McGovern, you said you plan to bring the bill to the floor soon. Is it complete, or what needs to kind of still be done for you to bring it?
So as we speak, all the various committees of jurisdiction are doing their markups. I know I'm also on the Agriculture Committee. Tomorrow is our day for markup. It will then go to the Budget Committee, where they will try to put together a more holistic package, and then it will come to the Rules Committee, where we will make sure that it is ready to go to the floor, and we will bring it to the floor as quickly as possible. So, look, I'm really excited about this. I mean, I've been in Congress now for a while, but I have never been part of an effort that will be so transformational in terms of improving the lives of people in our country at every level. I mean, this is going to be a big deal. Speaker talked about the physical infrastructure, roads, bridges, that's going to happen, but this is the human infrastructure. It's our kids, it's affordable prescription drugs, it's affordable daycare, it's also dealing with the climate crisis and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're ready to go. Things are moving the way they're supposed to move, and so far so good.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad you mentioned climate because that's for the children as well. The infrastructure bill has its merit, but it doesn't have much about climate. And so that's why I say it's for the future to build back better. And for the children, and children are so knowledgeable about climate, they could teach some of our members
Absolutely.
on the other side of the aisle a thing or two. But it is,
some of our members need to go back to school, but that's another.
but it is about the recognizing the climate crisis, recognizing it's a health issue for our children, the air they breathe, the water they drink. It's a jobs issue, being preeminent in the world in green technologies, being first in the world. It's a security issue. Our national security experts tell us that with the rising sea levels, the drying up of the rivers of Asia, the encroachment of deserts, the warming of the planet, this will cause competition for habitat and resources and migrations that can cause conflict. So health, jobs, security, it's mostly a moral issue. If you believe that some of us do, that this is God's creation, then we have a moral responsibility to be good stewards of it. Even if you don't share that view, we all agree that we have a moral responsibility to our children to pass off this planet in a responsible way for them, for the children. So again, it all comes back to the children. And we have different rules in the House and in the Senate. We'll have to give our bill a bird bath. That means what it means in the Congress, just subject it to the Senate rules, and then that's going to be the work of the Rules Committee to do.
Speaker Pelosi, the President is reportedly signing an executive order today requiring vaccination for executive office employees and contractors who work with federal government. Can I just ask you to respond to that news today, and also to just sort of the President's handling these issues more broadly?
Well, the requiring the vaccinations, I think, is very important. We know the success of it. The President had, right from the start, has, with the rescue package, the most important part, put vaccinations in people's arms, money in people's pockets who suffer from COVID economy, children as soon as possible safely in school, and people safely back to work. He has done this with the respect, obviously, for the science. You can't do it any other way. And the resistance to vaccinations is something that is hard to understand. There are some people who just don't trust science. They don't believe in the climate crisis, so they won't support legislation to address that. They don't believe in science, so if you tell them scientists say you should wear a mask, and the local political entity, the government, any place says you should wear a mask, they don't believe in science, they don't believe in governance. So that's a double whammy. I don't believe in science, I don't want the government telling me what to do. Except if they want to tell me what to do, if I'm a woman and I want to plan my family in a certain way. But I think the President has done a great job. He's made a tremendous difference. From one March to the next, we've had a president, one who is calling it a hoax, to another who is addressing it in almost a secure, national security way, putting every initiative we have, whether it's reaching out, whether it's education, whether it's funding for more research and the rest, as this virus is resourceful and changing, that he too is resilient in his approach. We should all be very grateful that Joe Biden is President of the United States. Our country is much healthier for it, and we will get out of this in a very, very clear way, always addressing what we're going to do for the future, already preparing for what we need in the supply chain, what we need in terms of education to get the job done. But he does have obstacles, and that's what we sign up for.
Right.
That's what we sign up for. Did you want to speak to that?
I'd just say President Biden's actions have saved millions and millions and millions of lives. And we can contrast that to the previous administration that was indifferent and that was embracing conspiracy theories. You know, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a medical expert or a doctor, but I trust those who are. And we ought to listen to them. And unfortunately, we have some in this country and some in our Congress who have embraced conspiracy theories that are just so beyond the pale, it's hard to even comment on it. I mean, we should all agree that that's a chair. I've got colleagues who will say that's a dining room table. So there's some major disconnects going on. But unfortunately, when members of Congress say things that are false and that are based on conspiracy theories, there's people out there that want to believe them because they're members of Congress. And so part of the challenge right now is to make sure that everybody understands what the facts are and what the science is. And to the extent that we can all follow the president's lead, we can get this virus under control and we can stop its mutating and be able to get back to a posture that everybody wants, where we don't always have to wear masks and where we're not worried about, you know, the news every morning. But make no mistake, this president has saved millions and millions and millions of lives, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't thank God he's in the Oval Office as opposed to the other guy.
But let me also add this. Any opportunity, anytime we talk about COVID, we have to talk about our workers, our heroes. Our bill last year was called the HEROES Act. We could not get it passed under the previous administration, but much of it is contained in the rescue package. And it's called the HEROES Act. It's named for the healthcare providers, the first responders, police and fire, who sometimes are the first ones on the scene when someone calls out for help. You name it, our food workers in the stores, our food workers, our teachers, our transportation workers, because transportation was so essential in all of this. They're our heroes. We couldn't get that recognition until the rescue package in the way that was commensurate with their service. And in the rescue package, we have a large commitment to state, county, and local government to keep these people employed. They were risking their lives to save lives, and they were losing their jobs because of the loss of revenue for state, local, and county governments. They didn't have the money. They were losing revenue because businesses were not thriving and the rest. So this was so important because in our localities and in our states, the state and local governments are what provide the full bulk of education, county hospitals and transportation systems and the rest. And yet the shortfall of funds coming in because of COVID was having to have people lose their jobs. And so in terms of it, it's very direct, but it may not be clearly apparent. That made a tremendous difference in communities. Now we, as being representatives in the Congress House, we wanted to be sure that money went directly to the townships, to the cities, and to the counties, not just to the states to be distributed by the governor. So the state had its share to be distributed, but there was also a guarantee that the money would come in there. And that, again, honored our heroes. Not enough, but certainly not to make matters worse for them. So the president has made a tremendous difference, a total difference in how this pandemic has been approached based on science, listening to communities, and again, having public policy and budget priorities to help match the need. Thank you.
Speaker,
all.
are you prepared to lose the House in 2022 if Congress fails to act on Roe v. Wade and if public support?
No,
over
we
the
don't
president-
intend to lose the House in 2022. We have absolutely no intention of losing that. But I've been in 5 states in the last few days talking about child tax credit. One of them was last Wednesday in Austin, Texas. It had been planned for a long time to talk about the child tax credit. But what happened the night before, of course, had a focus that you mentioned. And we will, the first week back, we'll pass the codification of Roe v. Wade in the House of Representatives. It's the first time, this is the first time that we have had a pro-choice majority in the House and a Democratic president to sign the bill. It would then go to the Senate, and we'll see what they do. But again, as a mother of 5 from a Catholic family, pro-choice, pro-life family that I came from, I understand, I'm respectful of everybody's views on this. I have 5 children in 6 years and a week. My husband and I are thrilled to death. But why should we make that the policy for every other person in our country? I mean, no members of Congress, justices of the Supreme Court, or governors of any state should interfere with that decision in every other country. It's not politics. In Ireland, what could be more Catholic country than Ireland? It passed a national referendum to allow this. And by the way, marriage equality too. So bravo for Ireland. That's another challenge that we have. No, we have no intention. We have great members. We have a great vision for our country, and our purpose is to get the job done for the American people. The politics will follow.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Let's